All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All praises due. Yahweh means he is, he exists. Bahashem means in his name. And Yahweh Shai means he is salvation. All praises to the elect of Israel out there practicing or following the law of liberty. All right, so we're going to continue in Second Baruch. Second Baruch, I think last time we left off in chapter 50. God said, excuse me now. Fighting a little cold, so I'm drinking some lemon and honey tea. But let's get into this reading. Let's get into this. We're gonna start out in chapter 51. Chapter 51. And it shall come to pass when that appointed day has gone by, that then shall the aspect of those who are condemned be afterwards changed, and the glory of those who are justified. For the aspect of those who now act wickedly shall become worse than it is, and they shall suffer torment. Also, as for the glory of those who have now been justified in my law, who have had understanding in their life, and who have planted in their heart the root of wisdom, then their splendor shall be glorified in changes, and the form of their face shall be turned into light of beauty, that they may be able to acquire and receive the world which does not die, which is then promised to them. For over this above all shall those who come then lament, that they rejoice my law, and stop their ears, that they might not hear wisdom or receive understanding. When therefore they see those over whom they are now exalted, but who shall then be exalted and glorified more than they shall respectively be transformed, the latter into the splendor of angels, and the former shall yet more waste away in wonder at the visions and the beholding of the forms. For they shall first behold and afterwards depart to the torment. But those who have been saved by their works, and to whom the law has been now a hope, and understanding an expectation, and wisdom a confidence, shall wonders appear in their time. For they shall behold the world which is now invisible to them, and they shall behold the time which is now hidden from them, and time shall no longer age them. For in the heights of that world shall they dwell, and they shall be made like unto the angels, and be made equal to the stars, and they shall be changed into every form they desire, from beauty into loveliness, and from light into splendor of glory. For there shall be spread before them the extent of paradise, and there shall be shown to them the beauty of the mystery of the living creatures which are beneath the throne, and all the armies of the angels, who are now held fast by my word, lest they shall appear and are held fast by a command that they may stand in their places till their advent comes. Moreover, there shall then be excellency in the righteous surpassing that in angels. For the first shall receive the last, those whom they were expecting, and the last those whom they used to hear that they have passed away. For they have been delivered from this world of tribulation, and lay down the burden of anguish. For when then have men lost their life, and for what have those who were on earth exchanged their soul? For then they chose not for themselves this time, which beyond the reach of anguish could not pass away, but they chose for themselves that time, whose issues are full of lamentations and evil, and they denied the world which ages not those who come to it, and they rejected the time of glory, so that they shall not come to the honor of which I told thee before. Chapter 52. And I answered and said, how can we forget those for whom woe is then reserved? And why therefore do we again mourn for those who die? Or why do we weep for those who depart to Sheol? Let lamentations be reserved for the beginning of that coming torment, and let tears be laid up for the advent of the destruction of that time. But even in the face of these things will I speak. And as for the righteous, what will they do now? Rejoice ye in the suffering which ye now suffer. For why do ye look for the decline of your enemies? Make ready your soul for that which is reserved for you, and prepare your souls for the reward which is laid up for you. Chapter 53. And when I had said these things, I fell asleep there, and I saw a vision, and lo, a cloud was ascending from a very great sea, and I kept gazing upon it. And lo, it was full of waters, white and black, and there were many colors in those selfsame waters, and as it were, the likeness of great lightning was seen at its summit. And I saw the clouds passing swiftly in quick courses, and it covered all the earth. And it came to pass after these things that cloud began to pour upon the earth and the waters that were in it. And I saw that there was not one of the same likeness in the waters which descended from it. For in the first beginning they were black, and many for a time, and afterwards I saw that the waters became bright, but they were not many. And after these things again I saw black waters, and after these things again bright, and again black, and again bright, and how this was done 12 times. But the black was always more numerous than the bright. And it came to pass at the end of the cloud that, lo, it rained black waters, and they were darker than had been all those waters that were before. And fire was mingled with them. And where those waters descended, they wrought devastation and destruction. And after these things I saw how that lightning which I seen on the summit of the cloud seized hold of it and hurled it to the earth. Now that lightning shone exceedingly, so as to illuminate the whole earth, and it healed those regions where the last waters had descended and wrought devastation. And it took hold of the whole earth, and had dominion over it. And I saw after these things, and lo, 12 rivers were ascending from the sea, and they began to surround that lightning, and to become subject to it. And by reason of my fear I awoke. Chapter 54. And I besought the mighty one and said, Thou alone, O Lord, knowest aforetime the deep things of the world, and the things which befall in their time. Thou brightest about by thy word, and against the works of the inhabitants of the earth. Thou dost hasten the beginning of times and end of seasons. Thou alone knowest. Thou for whom nothing is too hard, but who dost everything easily by a nod. Thou to whom the depths come as the heights, and whose word the beginning of ages serve. Thou who revealest to those who fear thee what is prepared for them. Then thenceforth they may be comforted. Thou showest great acts to those who know not. Thou breakest up the enclosure of those who are ignorant, and lightest up what is dark, and revealest what is hidden to the pure, who in faith have submitted themselves to thee in thy law. Thou hast shown to thy servant this vision. Reveal to me also its interpretation, for I have known that as regards those things wherein I besought thee, I have received a response. And as regards what I besought, thou didst reveal to me with what voice I should praise thee, and from what members I should cause praises and hallelujah to ascend to thee. For if my members were mouths, and my hairs on my head voices, even so I could not give thee the meed of praise, nor laud thee as is befitting, nor could I recount thy praise, nor tell the glory of thy beauty. For what am I amongst men, or why am I reckoning amongst those who are more excellent than I, that I have heard all these marvelous things from the Most High, and numberless promises from him who created me. Blessed be my mother among those that bear, and praise among women be she that bear me. For I will not be silent in praising the mighty one, and with the voice of praise I will recount his marvelous deeds. For who doth unlike unto thy marvelous deed, O power, or who comprehendeth thy deep thoughts of life? For with thy counsel thou dost govern all the creatures which thy right hand has created, and thou hast established every fountain of light beside thee, and the treasures of wisdom beneath thy throne hast thou prepared. And justly do thy perish who have not loved thy law. And torment of judgment shall await those who have not submitted themselves to thy power. For though Adam first sinned and brought untimely death unto all, yet of those who were born from him, each one of them has prepared for his own soul torment to come. And again, each one of them has chosen for himself glories to come. For assuredly, he who believeth will receive reward. But now, as for you, ye wicked that now are, turn ye to destruction, because ye shall speedily be visited, in that formerly ye rejected the understanding of the Most High. For his works have not taught you, nor his skill of his creation, which is at all times persuaded you. Adam is therefore not the cause, save only of his own soul, but each of us have been the Adam of his own soul. But do thou, O Lord, expound to me regarding those things which thou hast revealed to me, and inform me regarding that which I besought thee. For at the consummation of the world, vengeance shall be taken upon those who have done wickedness according to their wickedness, and thou wilt glorify the faithful according to their faithfulness. For those who among thy own thou rulest, and those who sin thou blottest out from among thy own. Whew. Chapter 55. And it came to pass, when I had finished speaking the words of this prayer, that I sat there under a tree, that I might rest in the shade of the branches. And I wondered, and was astonished, and pondered in my thoughts regarding the multitude of the goodness which sinners who are upon the earth have rejected, and regarding the great torment which they have despised, though they knew that they should be tormented because of the sin they have committed. And when I was pondering on these things and the like, lo, the angel Remiel, who presides over true visions, was sent to me. And he said unto me, Why does thy heart trouble thee, Baruch? And why does thy thought disturb thee? For if owning to the report which thou hast only heard of judgment, thou art so moved, what wilt thou be when thou shalt see it manifestly with thy eyes? And if with the expectation wherewith thou dost expect the day of the mighty one, thou art so overcome, what wilt thou be when thou shalt come to its advent? If at the word of the announcement of the torment of those who have done foolishly, thou art so woefully distraught, how much more when the event will reveal marvelous things? If thou hast heard tidings of good and evil things, which are then coming, and art grieved, what wilt thou be when thou shalt behold what the majesty will reveal, which shall convict these and cause those to rejoice? Chapter 56. Nevertheless, because thou hast besought the Most High to reveal to thee the interpretation of the vision what thou hast seen, I have been sent to tell thee. And the mighty one hath assuredly made known to thee the methods of the times that have passed, and those that are destined to pass in his world, from the beginning of his creation even unto its consummation, of those things which are deceit, and those things which are in truth. For as thou didst see a great cloud which ascended from the sea, and went and covered the earth, this is the duration of the world which the mighty one made when he took counsel to make the world. And it came to pass, when the world had gone forth from his presence, that the duration of the world had come into being in a small degree, and was established according to the multitude of the intelligence of him who sent it. And as thou didst previously see on the summit of the cloud black waters which descended previously on the earth, this is the transgression wherewith Adam, the first man, transgressed. For since when he transgressed, untimely death came into being. Grief was named, and anguish was prepared, and pain was created, and troubled consummation, and disease began to be established. And Sheol kept demanding that it should be renewed in blood. And the begotten of the children were brought about, and the passion of the parents produced, and the greatness of humanity was humiliated, and goodness languished. What therefore can be blacker or darker than these things? This is the beginning of the black waters, which thou hast seen. And from these black waters again were black derived, and the darkness of darkness was produced. For he became a danger to his own soul, even to the angels. became he a danger. For moreover, at the time when he was created, they enjoyed liberty, and some of them descended and mingled with women, and then those who did so were tormented and changed. But the rest of the multitude of angels, of which there is no number, restrained themselves, and those who dwelt on the earth perished together with them through the waters of the deluge. These are the black first waters. Chapter 57. And after these waters, thou didst see bright waters. This is the fount of Abraham, also his generations, and advent of his sons, and of his sons' sons, and of those like him, because at that time the unwritten law was named amongst them, and the works of the commandments were then fulfilled, and belief in the coming judgment was then generated, and hope of the world that was to be renewed was then built up, and the promise of the life that should come hereafter was implanted. These are the bright waters which thou hast seen. Chapter 58. In the black third waters which thou hast seen, these are the mingles of all sin, which the nations afterwards wrought after the death of those righteous men, in the wickedness of the land of Egypt, wherein they did wickedly in the service wherewith they made their sons to serve. Nevertheless, these also perished at the last. Chapter 59. In the bright fourth waters which thou hast seen are the advent of Moses, and Aaron, and Miriam, and Joshua, and the son of Nun, and Caleb, and all those like them. For at that time the lamp of the eternal law shone on all those who sat in darkness, which announced to them that believed the promise of their reward, and to them that denied the torment of fire which was reserved for them. But also the heavens at that time were shaken from their place, and those who were under the throne of the mighty one were perturbed when he was talking to Moses unto him, for he showed him many abominations together with the principles of the law and the consummation of the times, as also to thee, and likewise the pattern of Zion and its measures, and the pattern of which the sanctuary of the present time was to be made. But then also he showed to him the measures of the fire, also the depths of the abyss, and the weights of the winds, and the numbers of the drops of rain, and the suppression of anger, and the multitude of long suffering, and the truth of judgment, and the root of wisdom, and the riches of understanding, and the fount of knowledge, and the height of the air, and the greatness of paradise, and the consummation of the ages, and the beginning of the day of judgment, and the number of the offerings in the earth which have not yet come, in the mount of Gehenna, in the station of vengeance, in the place of faith, in the region of hope, in the likeness of the future torment, in the multitude of the innumerable angels, in the flaming hosts, in the splendor of the lightning, in the voice of the thunders, in the orders of the chief of the angels, in the treasures of light, in the changes of time, in the investigation of the law. These are the bright fourth waters which thou hast seen. Chapter 60. In the black fifth waters which thou hast seen, reigning are the works which the Amorites wrought, and the spells of their incantations which they wrought, in the wickedness of their mysteries, in the mingling of their pollution. But even Israel was then polluted by sin in the days of Judges, though they saw many sips which were from him who made them. Chapter 61. In the bright six waters which thou seest, this is the time in which David and Solomon was born. And there was at the time the building of Zion, and the dedication of the sanctuary, and the shedding of much blood of the nations that sinned then, and many offerings which were offered then, in the dedication of the sanctuary, and the peace and tranquility existed at that time. And wisdom was heard in the assembly, and the riches of the understanding was magnified in the congregations. And the holy festivals were fulfilled in blessedness and much joy, and the judgment of the rulers, which then seemed to be without guile, and the righteous of the precepts of the mighty one was accomplished in truth. And the land which was then beloved by the Lord, and because its inhabitants sinned not, it was glorified beyond all lands, And the city of Zion ruled then over all lands and regions. These are the bright waters which thou hast seen. Chapter 62. And the black seventh waters which thou hast seen. This is the perversion brought about by the counsel of Jeroboam, who took counsel to make two calves of gold, and all the iniquities which the kings who were after him iniquity brought, and the curse of Jezebel, and the worship of idols which Israel practiced at the time, and the withholding of rain, and the famines which occurred, until women eat the fruit of their own womb, and the time of their captivity which came upon the 9 tribes and a half, because they were in many sins. And Salmanassar, king of Assyria, came and led them away captive. But regarding the Gentiles, it was tedious to tell how they always wrought impiety and wickedness, and never wrought righteousness. These are the black 7 waters which thou hast seen. Chapter 63. And the bright 8 waters which thou hast seen. This is the restituted uprightness of Hezekiah, king of Judah, and the grace of God which came upon him, when then Sennacherib was stirred up in order that he might perish, and the wrath troubled him in order that he might thereby perish, for the multitude also of the nations which were with him. When moreover Hezekiah the king heard those things which the king of Assyria was devising, to come and seize him and destroy his people, the 2.5 tribes which remained, was that Judah, Benjamin, and Simeon, or Levi. And the 2.5 tribes that remained, nay more, he wished to overthrow Zion also. Then Hezekiah trusted in his works, and had hope in his righteousness, and spake with the mighty one, and said, Behold, for lo, Sennacherib is prepared to destroy us, and he will be boastful and uplifted when he has destroyed Zion. And the mighty one heard him, for Hezekiah was wise, and he had respect unto his prayers, because he was righteous. And thereupon the mighty one commanded Ramiel, his angels, who speaks with thee. And I went forth and destroyed their multitude, and the number of whose chiefs only was 185,000. And each one of them had an equal number at his command. And at that time I burned their bodies within, but their remnant and arms I preserved outwardly, in order that the still more wonderful deeds of the mighty one might appear, and that thereby his name might be spoken of throughout the whole earth. And Zion was saved, and Jerusalem was delivered, and Israel also was freed from tribulation, and all those who were in the Holy Land rejoiced, and the name of the mighty one was glorified, so it was spoken of. These are the bright waters which thou hast seen. Chapter 64. And the black 9th waters which thou hast seen. This is all the wickedness which was in the days of Manasseh, the son of Hezekiah. For he wrought much impiety, and he slew the righteous, and he wrestled judgment, and he shed the blood of the innocent, and wedded women he vilely polluted, and he overturned the altar, and destroyed their offerings, and drove forth their priests, lest they should minister in the sanctuary. And he made an image with 5 faces. 4 of them looked to the 4 winds, and the 5th of the summit of the image, as an adversary of zeal of the mighty one. And then wrath went forth from the presence of the mighty one, to the intent that Zion should be rooted out, and also befell in your days. But also against the 2.5 tribes went forth a decree, that they should also be led away captive, as that thou hast now seen. And to such a degree did the impiety of Manasseh increase, that he removed the praise of the Most High from the sanctuary. On the account of Manasseh was at the time named the impious, and finally his abode was in the fire. For through his prayer was heard with the Most High finally, when he was cast into the brazen horse, and the brazen horse was melted. It served as a sign unto him for the hour. For he had not lived perfectly, for he was not wroth, but that his thenceforward he might know by whom finally he should be tormented. For he who is able to benefit is also able to be tormented. Chapter 65. Thus, moreover, did Manasseh act impiously, and thought that in his time the mighty one would not inquire into these things. These are the black 9 waters which thou hast seen. Whew. All right, I'm gonna stop it right there. Um, that's a lot of meat, man. That's a lot of meat. Like I always say, you guys, if you can, listen to this video a couple times, meditate on it, and may the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh, shall bless you.